Greetings, my fellow freedom love sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful planet Earth, and today's date is Saturday, September 25th, 2021. Ooh, yeah, so I was examining the press conference he had on the Maricopa County Audit, and one of the speakers were on target. There's a great amount of discrepancies, including deleted files, which violates federal law. So, election tampering. You could really, it's like I said before, it's gonna take a while, and I don't have all the titles under my mind right now. Just bringing this episode, but the whole thing is, nothing's going to occur overnight. This information has been transferred to the Attorney General. And I don't know what the Arizona's judicial, if they're going to do any grand jury, because it's possible there could be high felony offenses. So, like I said, everyone expecting all the results at one time. Don't even think about it. The truth of the matter is, everything's going to be going by steps. And I know what I was informed is this page is like 197 pages long. And regardless if it's if you voted for Trump or Biden, okay, it's irrelevant right now. If they could do it in this election with this technology, it could be done to anyone else, whether it's federal, state, or local. This is why you have to question this. Keep this mind open, because someone you support can be caught in this ordeal as well with the tampering. Yeah, it's very intriguing. So, and of course, the states have that right. Of course, they're talking about the feds getting involved. They need to butt out. Plain and simple. Department just trying to get involved in this. They tell them to stick it. It's guaranteed under Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution when it comes to the states doing the elections and 10th Amendment. And of course, expect other states to follow through. If every state in this union got to pursue it, so be it. Like I said before, and I told this to my past episodes on electronic balloting. When it came out 20 years ago, after the whole Bush-Gore elections of 2000, and during that time, they used the hanging Chad drama as an excuse, and they brought this as a solution. And I warned people 2 decades ago, it's a mega problem waiting to happen, or a monstrosity, or scandal, and so forth. Well, only thing I gotta say, and if it is official, when they say the ballots the elections were tampered with, their certification is null and void with no force. We don't want another Battle of Athens, Tennessee. Okay? Now with this digital stuff, it's getting too obvious. And I don't care if you vote for Trump or Biden for president. It's the principle you have to focus on. Not your personal party affiliation. Not saying the red team is better than the blue team. Vice versa. That's out the window, as far as I'm concerned. Well, we'll just see how far this goes. And I saw the live feed on that. And was it RBSN? I thank them for putting that out. And of course, alternative media is on top of it as well. We always got to look at the matter of this. It's all about integrity on this particular department. It needs to be honored. Go by the book with no exceptions. And if every state decides to do it, I I say, make it happen. Nothing's going to happen overnight, folks. And I'll repeat myself. I recommend everyone tell your elected servants, do the audit. And you know what? Then we can get a cleaner slate. Whereas red or blue, expect to get screwed. So, that's all I gotta say about it. This one here I just looked into it today. I was like going through the Epoch Times. And this one occurred in the state of Massachusetts. And it says here, judge denies police union's effort to delay vaccine mandate in Massachusetts. This is by Meme Negri. Ooh. Sorry about that. Mimi Nagoyan Lee. As it reads here, the Massachusetts judge has denied a bid by the state police union to delay mandatory vaccinations from all state employees. The State Police Association of Massachusetts, a union representing about 1,800 state police officers, filed a lawsuit last week asking the judge to put the mandate on hold to give the union time to negotiate the term and conditions of their employment, which before a deadline of October 17th. And to be very frank, yeah, they have that right to negotiate. What's wrong with that? The public interest is unquestionably best served by stopping the spread of the virus in order to protect people from becoming ill, ensure adequate supply of medical services, and curtail the emergence of new, deadlier variants of the virus, Judge Jackie Cowan said in a decision reported by the Associated Press. Well, with all due respect, Judge, you chose poorly, because there's actually no proof that this is no isolated virus pertaining to COVID-19. The Delta variant. They can't even do testing on that. So how do you know? It looks like the police union's big mistake. They should need to get all this more information on that. And I encourage the fellow officers, even the people in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, to send this stuff to them, because people need a right to know the truth here. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker, a Republican, issued an executive order last month that would require proof of COVID-19 vaccination for all executive department employees by October 17th. I got a question for Governor Baker. Can you show us your certification on your last colon examination? Can you do that? Yeah, do it. Executive departments employees who are not vaccinated or approved for exemption as of October 17, 2021 will be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination. Management employees not in compliance of October 17, 2021 will also be subject to disciplinary action up and including termination, Baker's office said in a statement. So I'm just wondering if Mr. Baker took his shot, show his certification. Hey, how about dissectomy too, right? All right, if you did dissectomy. I'm just being sarcastic. It's just some of these people, man. I'm just scratching my head here. His office also stated the administration will continue to work with its union partners regarding this policy and specific ramifications of noncompliance for staff represented by unions will be discussed well in advance of October 17th with each employee union. The union has asked that troopers who don't get the vaccine be allowed to wear a mask and undergo weekly COVID-19 testing instead, which is proved to be inaccurate, and the CDC announced they're going to end it by New Year's Eve of this year. You folks, you look it up. That'd be great. We are disappointed in the judge's ruling, however. We respect her decision, Michael Chervin, the union's president, said in a statement. It is unfortunate that the governor and his team have chosen to mandate one of the most stringent vaccine mandates in the country with no reasonable alternatives. In other words, he has no merit, Governor Baker. Throughout COVID, we have been on the front lines protecting the citizens of Massachusetts and beyond. Simply put, all we are asking for are the same basic accommodations that countless other departments have provided to be the first responders and to treat COVID-related illness as a line of duty injury. To date, dozens of troopers have already submitted their resignation paperwork, some whom plan to return to other departments offering reasonable alternatives such as mask wearing and regular testing. He added, the state police are already critically short-staffed and acknowledged this by the unprecedented moves which took troopers from specialty units that investigate homicides, terrorism, computer crimes, arsons, gangs, narcotics, and human trafficking, and returned them to uniformed patrol. Oh, yeah. Looks like the governor thinks he has all this power and authority, with all due respect. He's a nobody. He's just another elected servant. And, of course, all these folks out there may be taking the shots. They'll be getting COVID, spike proteins, and so forth. There's nothing really new. But remember, the unions have the right to negotiate. So you're going to take away their rights to negotiate certain conditions because the governor wrote a stroke of a pen? Oh, yeah, I know more than you. My wrist hurts. I pay my dues. Well, it's interesting because he contradicted multiple areas of his oath of office. I'm not going to go too much detail, but I'm definitely going to leave it on here. And of course, if you look at Part 1, Article 1, we'll start with Article 1. It says here, all men are born free and equal and have certain natural, essential, and unalienable rights, among which may be reckoned the right of enjoying, defending their lives and liberties, that of acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and find that of seeking and obtaining their safety and happiness. So even though the police, the state police, are a governmental entity, and the troopers considered delegates in that field, you're still gonna tell them this is for your own good. That's very treacherous, I would say, right? We can hit Article 5 of this. Right there. Article 5. All power residing originally from in the people are being derived from them. Several magistrates and officers, governments vested in their authority with the legislative, executive, judicial are their substitutes and agents and are at times accountable to them. Okay. So the whole thing is the people in that commonwealth needs to bust his chops, including their legislators, on this ordeal, especially the ones that have families that are in who are state troopers. Okay, even with 6, I'll just hit the first sentence here. The first sentence. Yeah, no man nor corporation or the association of men have any other title to obtain advantages or particular and exclusive privileges distinct from those of the community then that arises from the consideration of services rendered to the public. I'll just leave it from there. And just to let you know, folks, it's considered is absurd and unnatural. So, based on that, a particular law, this order is invalid. And of course, talk about here about 7, government is instituted for the common good, for the protection, safety, prosperity, and happiness of the people, and not for the profit, honor, or private interest of anyone, man, family, or class of men. Therefore, the people alone have an incontestable, unalienable, and indefeasible right to institute government and to reform, alter, or totally change the same, with their protection, safety, prosperity, and happiness require it. Yep, so, like I said, residents there got that leverage. And of course, 8 here, in order to prevent those who are vested with authority from becoming oppressors, the people have a right at such periods in such manner as they established by the frame of government to cause the public officers to return to private life and to fill up vacant places by certain and regular electors and appointments. Okay, so that's all right. I like that. Oh, let's hit the first sentence here of Article 10. Each individual in society has a right to be protected by in the enjoyment of his life, liberty, and property according to its standing laws. Not orders. That's an edict. Okay? Right there. It's an edict. Governor's edict is, again, illegal or invalid contract. So, of course, we can read 11 here, Article 11. Every subject of the Commonwealth ought to find a certain remedy by having recourse to the laws for all injuries or wrongs which may receive in his person, property, or character. He ought to obtain right and justice freely and without being obliged to purchase it completely and without any denial, promptly and without delay, comfortably to the laws. All right, we can hit 18 here. Article 18 reads, I'm not going to go too bonkers here. It says here, a frequent recurrence to the fundamental principles of the Constitution, the constant adherence of those of petty justice, moderation, temperance, industry, and frugality are absolutely necessary to preserve the advantages of liberty and to maintain a free government. And all that's what we call it, Taxachusetts. Yeah. Contradict that, right? Let's see what 20 has to say here. Article 20. The power of suspending the laws or the execution of laws ought to never be exercised by the legislature or by the authority derived from it, to be exercised in such particular cases only as legislators shall expressly provide for. Okay, well, right there, still saying it's illegal, of course. And we'll hit 24. Laws made to punish for actions done before existence of such laws have which not been declared by crime by preceding laws are unjust, oppressive, and inconsistent with the fundamental principles of a free government. Interesting there. So, be punished illegal orders. That means that's still invalid. If we could do all this, 25, no subject ought in any case. Yeah, that's different. I should have never wrote that or marked that down. We'll hit 29 and 30. I'll just hit 29 and 30. Hit 29 here is essential. The preservation of the rights of every individual, his life, liberty, and property and character, that there be an impartial interpretation of the laws and the administration of justice. It is the right of every citizen to be tried by judges as free, impartial, and independent as a lot of humanity will admit it. It is therefore not only the best policy, but for the security of the rights of the people and every citizen, that the judges of the Supreme Judicial Court should hold their offices as long as they behave themselves, and they should have honorable salaries ascertained and established by standing laws. So, the essential rights has to be preserved, period. And hit 30. In the government of this Commonwealth, the legislative department shall never exercise the executive and judicial powers, or either of them. The executive shall never exercise the legislative and judicial powers, or either of them. The judicial shall never exercise the legislative and executive powers, or either of them, to the end may be the government of laws and not of men. So can't be, like we said, like part of that you can use that as well. What Governor Baker has done, based on all these good amount of sections of the Declaration of Rights, they call it the Declaration of Rights of the inhabitants of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Yeah, it is invalid. Remember, they're human beings too. And of course, I know there's no recall laws, only for, like on the state level, except for, maybe on the local, you do a recall vote. However, I do see a possible case of articles of impeachment on here too. if they have the gall to do it. Okay, so I'm just keeping under wraps, and it's just one of those ordeals you can look at here on Article 8, right? Yeah, Part 2, Chapter 1, Section 2, Article 8 of the Commonwealth Constitution. It says here, the Senate shall be a court with full authority to hear and determine all impeachments made by the House of Representatives against any officer or officers of the Commonwealth for misconduct and maladministration in their offices. But the previous to the trial of every impeachment, the members of the Senate shall respectively be sworn, truly and impartially, to try and determine the charge in question according to evidence. Their judgment, however, shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold or enjoy any place of honor, trust, or profit under the Commonwealth, but the party so convicted shall be no less liable to indictment, trial, judgment, punishment according to the laws of the land. So looks like it'll be the same procedures. The House can, if I'm correct, the House can impeach, and the Senate can make the full decision on that matter. And I was like looking around here, and I found this website called freemassachusetts.org. I'm gonna read the main objective, but it tells you a lot more about this, about the general laws. It's very good. So it's a petition. Now I'll just start it from here. Massachusetts Constitution is set up for us to fight to remove people who are not fit to represent us. Governor Baker and his administration are not fit to represent the people of Massachusetts. Per our beautiful Constitution, please see the law from Part the 2nd, Chapter 1, Section 2, Article 8. And I've read that, of course, and even there's instructions how to do it, add full name and so forth. Sent away to these particular delegates. And like it says here, I hereby request the Commonwealth of Massachusetts House of Representatives per MA General Laws, Part 2, Chapter 1, Section 2, Article 8, and Part 2, Chapter 2, Section 3, Article 6, represent the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to impeach Charles D. Baker, Karen Polito, and William Francis Galvin. Governor Charles D. Baker, Lieutenant Karen Polito, and Secretary of State William Francis Galvin have the responsibility and duty to uphold Massachusetts Constitution. Each individual has failed the people of the Commonwealth by malicious intent to supersede our Constitution. The people of Massachusetts have constitutional rights to due process of law and be governed only by law passed by the state legislature. Governor Baker and Polito have relied on the Civil Defense Act, which does not include man-made disasters, to create emergency orders, and the state of Massachusetts. These emergency orders infringe on the rights of all citizens, healthy and sick. If did not stop there, he is now creating bills to extend his emergency order. Yeah, so it says here, Secretary of State Galvin and Deborah O'Malley continue to hide all evidence of EAC certificates. By law, the Secretary of State should have all these records at hand, and Deborah O'Malley, as well as Galvin, proceeded not to provide these certifications when requested. Why? Please see General Laws, Part 1, Title 8, Section 32. Per Dr. Shiva's lawsuit, the people have discovered the truth about the election process, and Galvin has been anything but transparent about our votes. See case 1-20-CV-1280-MLW. Fact checkers incorrectly state that ballots were destroyed when the reality is federal law states ballots must be saved for 22 months. And the software installed and supposedly certified by EAC, which Galvin nor ESC nor towns, cities, as O'Malley suggest can produce did come with the software that would save the ballot images. It's interesting. I'm glad he brought this up because it is true that on federal law is you have to hold the ballots be saved for 22 months. And I suggest folks to look at the case of, what's that one? Tim Canova versus Brenda Snipes. This happened in Broward County, Florida. And he was trying to look at the ballots, because he was running for House of Representative in the primaries against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And what occurred when he tried to get the information, they shredded it before that threshold, the maximum duration. And that's illegal, and he won in court. And this is why I always keep contact with these individuals. And don't get me wrong, Tim Canova, I may have we may have our differences, but we can have a great chat, common interest. So, and that's essential, because that's why the establishment, the oppressors don't want us. They want us fighting amongst each other and be ruled like peasants. We can't do that. And even the founding fathers, the authors of the Constitution, even Declaration of Independence, okay, Thomas Jefferson, they gave us a warning on this ordeal. So I'm gonna see here. Let me look. Let me just finish this up here. Where are these ballots? We the people deserve a fair, free, and transparent election going forward, even if they were not true. The people deserve transparency, especially with everything going on today with the United States. We the people are counting on you, our elected representatives, to do your job, remove these people from office. Failure on representatives and Senate's part of the removal, these three people, will result in the removal of you as well. There's a petition on that from freemassachusetts.org. And I don't know how many people actually signed it, but I encourage people in that area to do it. It doesn't matter what your political beliefs are. Like I said before, it's principle. That's why I tell people here that the ballots or the order is null and void, plain and simple. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add all those footnotes in here. And you could, on my speaker page, you could actually look at yourselves. Pretty damn interesting. Like I said, each state and commonwealth are different. So we can't be like Florida, can't be like New York, and vice versa. So that's why I'm always tell people, you got to always visit the state, know their laws, and know their customs. Don't tell you this how we do it up here. We should bring it down here. No, that's irrelevant. It's called a form of centralization, and you can't do that. You can't bring the Everglades to New York City, right? Just to give you an example. So hey, that's how I look at it. What's your intake on it? I don't mind. Speak it. All right, folks, that will be it. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share us throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or things on this interesting, check out. Wherever you do, please send your correspondence to the quorum. Furthermore, I'll leave the footnotes of this episode on my speaker page. And if you want to contact me, you can email me at lookyourluck03@protonmail.com. Furthermore, if you want to donate, you can go to paypal.me or cash.app/lookyourluck3. If you want to support the Epoch Times, that would be cool. Donate, subscribe. They do good work. I always appreciate it. And remember, folks, with this whole election scandal in Maricopa County, expect the mainstream media to spin it. Got to give you all the garbage. So just go to the actual data and make your own judgment, because all those mind control games, all about the information war. Yeah, I'm in it. Admit it. And you know what? That's all well and good. So educate yourselves. That's what I try to do. Educate myself and share it with you guys. Not trying to be more like a teacher to an extent. I'm still learning along the way as well. All right. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.